back to Glassman.
So you and I texted each other. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm friends with Anders. I got his number. I got his fucking number.
I feel good about texting you too.
Thanks.
Enjoy it.
Thanks, man. You said the story's dead. It's gonna pass. The movement already passed. It's not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Because people didn't come forward. Girls, you said women needed to come forward and like name names, and none of them did, or at least so far hasn't. Your buddy Armin doesn't think it's dead. I can tell you that.
I mean, he may know more about people that are working on things behind the scenes than I do. He's definitely tapped into that world much more than I am. This is what I hope is going on. I hope that there's a network of females. I'm going to say two things that I hope are happening. The first one is I hope that there is a network and communication between all the females of the past getting together and organizing a way for them to stand up for themselves and tell their story. I think that that's super important on a human level, that people are allowed to express themselves and tell their story, especially something like this, to be able to come out and just say, this happened to me. Other people have gone through this. We're united, and we have our own group to just be here. They're all in it together, and they're the only ones that can fight for themselves. They have to band together in a way to get to make something happen. The other thing that I really hope happens is that there's three main people that I know of that know everything. Dave Castro, who is the new CEO. Nicole and Savan.
Nicole, who stepped down recently.
Did Nicole step down?
Who stepped down?
Even know that.
Some woman stepped down.
Uh,
I put it in our story when it was breaking. So Nicole Carroll, she resigned.
Yeah.
She resigned.
She did? I didn't even know that.
She resigned on June 9th. Way to pay attention.
Yep, there you go. Oh, I was at the, it's actually funny. I was at the lake again, not paying attention to any of this, but I would assume that she stepped down and retired because of the sexual assault stuff, or was that after or before?
Well, it was right. No, it was before that. It was right when the tweet and everything.
The tweet thing happened.
Yeah.
So she knows everything. She's been around since like 2000. She's badass. It wouldn't even surprise me if she came out with some very personal stories of like way back, way back, pre like the CrossFit that everybody knows stories. But she's been, you can go as deep as you want into the archives, but she was the athlete that Glassman would roll out to like the biggest, strongest, toughest guys and go, okay, well, if you think you're a badass, go compete against Nicole Carroll and enjoy. And she would kick their ass just to prove how badass CrossFit is. And then the director of media, his name is Savan Matosian. He also knows everything. He's been around. He's the guy that was doing that video that I sent you that looks like a Girls Gone Wild video in the hotel. It's like creepy, amateur something. It's just weird.
Well, and then obviously, we know Dave knows everything. So for
Dale
Dave,
Sarin too. He was the head of the legal back in the day. He was the guy that was in charge of writing all those contracts. I would imagine
the legal people. But for Dave, who everybody knows everything. When he says, "Well, I'm the new guy. It's going to be fine now," it's like, well, not really.
I would imagine there's stories there too.
Did you just say that on my show? Are you afraid of being sued?
I don't really know.
Are you afraid of being sued?
No, I don't want to get. I'm saying that because how many times in your life have you and your friends not experienced the same thing? You're like best friends when you're like out doing whatever you're doing. Like all of these people were there. They were all holding hands at the same time. Like, whatever stories my friends have from going to the bars with me, like, their stories aren't that different. We all did the same shit. We were all best friends. We all shared the same life.
You keep using that word shared, and it's throwing me off.
What do you mean? I mean, we, like, if we're all united by like a way of thinking and the actions we do, those become your best friends, right? So to think that there's just like Glassman goes to the seminar and like only random girls are talking to Glassman and they're not talking to Castro. They're not talking to the guy with the camera. They're not, they're a boy band. Like, yes, Justin Timberlake is just Jessica Biel, but who else? There's a lot of layers underneath the Jessica Biel. Like, it's human nature, right? Like, they're all there. They're all a part of it. That's what the whole podcast was about. It was Andy Stump saying, I was there and I didn't do anything about it, but I saw all of it, and all the big players are involved. And this is how they got out of it. They got out of it through paying people off and forcing them to sign NDAs. And that's just, so how far removed is Glassman from the other 3 people that are in his boy band? Does that make sense?
Yes.
I'm not saying Dave Castro has walked around and is sexually assaulting people. I'm saying everybody was there. Everybody saw it every single weekend. Nobody did anything about it. So other people are going to have to like come clean in this and say, this is what we saw. If they want to really come clean.
If they come clean or get caught, is it the end of CrossFit? Is everybody going to leave? All the affiliates, all the names, all the brands already left, right? That's a lot of the money, right? Isn't it? Isn't it a lot of money, all the brands?
Dude, the end of CrossFit. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. It's so weird though. Like, you say the end of something, and
because last time we talked, you said they're not using it for programming. So what are they using it for? Armin's big thing was the insurance.
Great. So we're going back to the other question that we went to. So here's the deal. When you own a gym, I can't believe Armin hasn't talked to you about this, or just like brought it up. Maybe it hasn't. The question hasn't been angled in that specific manner, or whatever you guys are talking about. But when you own a gym that says CrossFit on the front, there is a singular word. There is a one-word answer. So when people leave, they walk outside, their friend says, oh, you look great. What have you been doing? And they say, I do CrossFit.
Right.
It's simple. It unifies people. It makes them feel a part of a tribe. It makes everybody, it brings all of it together, right? If you take all the gym owners that now want to say, we're a CrossFit gym, and you force them, and in saying, I'm a CrossFit gym owner, they then are able to create the culture of their gym based on the global understanding of what CrossFit is. It unites all the people that like high intensity functional movements and constantly varied, blah, blah, blah. So all of the culture is kind of like built off of that very first one. Inside, so the idea that all CrossFit gyms are different is true, but to a very small degree.
Okay, let me can I interject? If my gym was called Matt's CrossFit, right? And then CrossFit became a nasty word, I de-affiliate, and I'm called Matt's Atlanta Fitness. And people talk to people that are at my gym and they say, you look great. What do you do? And they go, you know what CrossFit is, right? Like, yeah, it's like that. Or just CrossFit. It's called Matt's Atlanta Fitness. Go check it out. You know what I mean? Like, they're still going to use that term.
Because it doesn't sound cool. It doesn't ring in the same way. Like, I'm telling you this because I rebranded my gym, and I know for a fact that when we started to make like small tweaks to what was going on, because we felt that there was a better way that was more authentic to us and what we wanted to do for fitness, all the gym owners that are sitting here saying like, well, we're just going to do CrossFit tomorrow, but it'll just be under Matt's Fitness brand. And you go, okay, well, what about like 6 months from now when all these new members show up and you're not allowed to say, hey, you're doing CrossFit? You go, okay. Like, they're basically saying like they're buying into the gym down the street that does CrossFit but doesn't want to put the name on it. And they've been fighting against that for however many years in direct competition with them. Okay, so it's like you over time you get one day at a time further and further away from being able to use the word CrossFit, and it loses its culture.
So how did Khalipa do it?
Khalipa's I didn't even know that Khalipa was still an affiliate. I was actually really surprised by that.
It's not called CrossFit.
Khalipa did it because he has like 27 gyms around the world, and calling it NC Fit makes much more sense than calling it CrossFit. The same thing. If your brand is big enough that you can weather the storm.
But he didn't start out as big enough. He started out as a gym, I assume.
He started out as CrossFit Mountain View or CrossFit something. And then after he had 7-8 gyms, was already in corporate America, and he realized that like the brand of CrossFit didn't fit with him walking into corporate America and saying like, we're going to come in and just do Fran and wreck your athlete or your employees. He then had to rebrand and call himself NC Fit because of the opportunities that presented themselves. It's the same with Invictus. Like Invictus Fitness was built out of CrossFit Invictus. And then CrossFit Invictus became large enough, started opening multiple locations. And now instead of having like CrossFit Invictus downtown, CrossFit Invictus Point Loma, CrossFit Invictus Sorrento Valley, CrossFit Invictus Boston, like now it's just Invictus Fitness.
Right. So if I go to that gym and my friends ask me what I do, I'm going to say CrossFit.
Yes, but you have.
And who even knows what Invictus means?
So, hold on. Let's back this up. There are people that are capable as owners of a business to create their own culture and do it. The 1,000 gyms that are just mom and pop gyms down the street that aren't truly thinking about their business are not going to be able to do it. It's not a one size fits all. You're either going to fail if you leave or you're going to make it if you leave. It's dude, before you rebrand your gym, why don't you think about this? Before you go and make a social media post about how you're out, why don't you think about the fact that, okay, well now just your social media posts, you either have to backtrack on that and say like, oh, well, we trust Castro. We're going to stick around for a little bit, see how it goes. We just wanted to make this beautiful post because it made people feel good. Now you have to backtrack on that, see how it goes. And then if you do end up going through with it, now it's like, okay, well, if we're not in a CrossFit gym, what are we? Well, that's a weird question because you got to think about it.
All right, let me ask you this.
Let's do it.
Most businesses don't make it. Whatever the thing is, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm assuming CrossFit's the same. People start a gym, doesn't get enough people. They close, they go back to corporate America, they start another business, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if people de-affiliate and the stink isn't off CrossFit, then eventually it does close down because there's nothing new. Like the 1,500 that are there now eventually become 500 in 3 years.
Yeah, which is fine too.
So, so is he still going to be fine?
I mean, every business is going to have to meet the market where it's at. And
I'm going to such a boomer. Do you remember Sears, Anders?
Kind of, yeah.
There are worldwide brands that you can believe would ever go away, right?
Yeah.
It's the nature of things. Toys R Us was a fucking
totally
right.
it's totally possible for it to go away. I think the interesting thing about CrossFit is that the answer is 100% yes. It can totally go away. Is this the catalyst to making it go away? I don't think so. I don't think so because time allows people space to forget. So if like, especially this like social virtuing thing that goes on, it's like today I'm like social justice warrior, and then 2 weeks from now I'm like, man, I really want to go work out. And that's the best way for me to work out because it's fast and my friends are there. So like, I'm going to forget about that Instagram post I made 2 weeks ago and I'm just going to go work out. And like, I'm up here in beautiful New Hampshire and the gym's just opened this week. So I knew where I could go get a good workout. So the first thing I did was Google CrossFit near Northfield, New Hampshire. And it popped up. And that's probably where I'm going to go work out because that's where I know I can at least see somebody that looks like me, that lifts weights like me, that wants to be fit like me. And I'll be able to go high five to people that are cool.
When someone shows up in a town like that, is the typical behavior to like do the WOD of the day, or you just do whatever the fuck you feel like doing?
I have an email waiting for me from the gym owner to specifically answer that question. Personally, I try to be a part of the community as much as possible. One, it's awesome just hanging out with people that are doing the same stuff. Two, I'm not that hung up on my own fitness that I think it really matters what I do in the gym. If I'm just working out and having fun, I'm doing it. And number three is I don't want to affect their business. So right now, if their business requires me to wear a mask and requires me to, they can only have 9 people in a class, and me dropping in would take one of those spots away, and that's not fair to the business. That hinders their business from moving forward. So then I would ask, can I just come in and sit in a corner by myself and work out?
Pre-COVID though, what is the typical behaviors? Most people do what you do? Hey, I'm just a guest here. I'll be a good guest. Let's do this jam together. Or do people be like, hey, I got to get my blah blah in today. Can I fucking do that?
Most of those people are super annoying, and they just, if they really want to, I think most people just join the classes and want to come be a part of it, and that's like the friendly way to go about being.
I want to hear what you tried to tweak that made you lose customers back in the day.
Moving away from CrossFit?
Yes.
Well, the entire first off, I had never rebranded a business ever. Second, at the time, I should have just sold the business. This is the hindsight of where I'm at, and I can tell you how it happened. I should have just sold the business because at the time, I probably cost myself a good 6-figure number by not selling it at that time. And the reason is because this is specifically kind of like what I'm talking about. I thought that all of the people thought that I was the one that was able to lead them to all of their fitness goals. And what I quickly learned was all of them wanted to do CrossFit first and then wanted me to be their coach second. So when you have an office, and this is what all the gym owners are going to learn.
This is very clear. You know what I'm just reminded of? Okay. We're going to do the Steel Dragon thing. Do you know what that's from?
No.
The movie with Wahlberg when he's a karaoke guy, but then he becomes the lead singer.
Beautiful.
You know, it's based on a true story. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Mark Wahlberg, I think Jennifer Aniston is the girlfriend, and they find him on a YouTube video, and then he becomes their lead singer when their lead singer quits the band, right?
Cool.
And then of course, you know, he worships them. He fucking worships them and will do whatever they say. But about 2 years in, he's like, I've got some songs I want to write. And they're like, you join Steel Dragon. It's the name of the band. We're going to do the Steel Dragon thing. Keep your fucking ideas to yourself, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So your people want to do the CrossFit thing.
They want to do CrossFit.
Not the Anders thing.
They wanted me to be their CrossFit coach.
Right.
And that is what people are going to learn when they rebrand their gyms very quickly. When you say, we are no longer a CrossFit gym, they're going to go, well, I'm here because I'm paying for CrossFit. And I want to give my money to a CrossFit
and
gym.
I don't give a fuck about this guy Glassman. So if you don't do it, I'm just going to go down the street to.
Am I supposed to get in worse shape because of this? Am I like? And then the gym owner goes, well, no, we're doing it kind of like that. And go, okay, but it's still not CrossFit, right? No, we just don't use the words. Okay, well then what are we doing? And the gym owner is going to be fumbling all over themselves to try and create some sort of methodology of why that person needs to stay and keep paying their money. And what they do right now when someone asks, they go, oh, well, we do CrossFit. And what is that? Oh, it's constantly varied functional movements done at high intensity. Well, what does that mean? Well, we can put stuff in a hopper and you spin it around, and whatever comes out, the winner of that workout is the most fit. And we can take you from sick to well to fit because it's all laid out in this beautiful methodology.
Where do I sign up? This sounds great.
Right? And now this gym owner that just went out and made some knee-jerk reaction to pull their affiliate, maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in month 1, but in month 8, you have a whole bunch of new people. You have a whole bunch of like, how about this? You don't even have new people. That's the problem. You have a whole bunch of people that moved away from your town. And when the new people move to your town, they type in, where do I do CrossFit? And bumfuck town. And your gym used to pop up because it was called CrossFit Bumfuck Town. And now it doesn't. Now it's called Matt's Fitness Brand.
Right.
And nobody wants
Matt's Fitness Brand.
Matt's Fitness Brand. They want CrossFit.
Right.
So you may not even lose all your members that love you so much, but over time you don't get as much foot traffic because your SEO value and the name of your brand and all of that just disintegrates. And that's just part of it. You have to find a brand. You have to refigure out what your niche is in the community of fitness, what you offer somebody, how you get them there, and to be able to explain why that's important when that person that's downstairs or that's in the gym working out right now walks outside, they say, oh, I do CrossFit. And their friends are like, cool.
Right.
Isn't that
right.
that asshole guy? And
right.
like nobody even knows.
Right. It's especially when there still is one down the street, right? Like there's not as many as there was in 2012, but there's still 10 other ones. When I just have that fumbling conversation, I'm just going to go down the street because I know what CrossFit is and I don't give a shit about Glassman anyway. Who cares?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to this gym and a couple of my friends are already going there and there's a morning class that fits in my schedule. I totally hear it. But there is a world because I like this stuff. I like sociology and how things work. There is a world where, you know, there are a few new Khalipas out there, right? A couple of people that figured out something and it's like, oh my God, like we'd never have the Foo Fighters if Cobain didn't die, right? Like there might be, there might be some like one or two other brands that come from the dead ashes of CrossFit. And that could be super cool too.
There definitely will be. I mean, CrossFit came out of the dead ashes of soulless corporate gyms. He got kicked out of all of them and went and opened his own spot and then put it on the internet.
Because people told him lifting weights was dangerous.
Yeah, and doing it fast was stupid. And he was disobeying all the rules, but he was getting better results. So he just kept going and kept hustling and kept finding a way. So like, if you were in the short-term business of helping gyms rebrand out of CrossFit, you're probably doing very well right now. It's just, I don't think the gym owners fully understand what they're doing, which is totally cool. That's why you take your lumps and you keep going or you quit.